Welcome to my little corner in the internet. I'm Nadine. I'm traveling with my dog Marjorie, and I welcome you wholeheartedly to Everyday Alchemy, where I walk the 12-week path of Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Journey with me through the mess and magic of life itself. This is week 8, recovering a sense of strength. Recap week 8, recovering a sense of strength. To be honest, I really feel like this week was just absolutely mind blowing. First of all, the overarching theme for me was give yourself the dignity of admitting your artistic wounds, meaning that so often we have a loss of hope or a loss of faith or a loss of self-belief that we don't acknowledge and we don't share and we don't talk about because it's shameful and it's guiltful, right? So the artistic losses are not too painful, too silly, or too humiliating to acknowledge or share, right? And now that I really acknowledged how deeply I felt about this, Julia Cameron calls them artistic miscarriages, right? Because she always talks about the creative ideas in our heads are like artistic children or creative children in our heads, and therefore they feel like miscarriages. I have artistic wounds. These wounds make me to the person I am right now in this moment, also shape the way forward with how I decide to work with them, right? So that is this gain disguised as loss, because it's all in the frame and the point of view and the perception on things, right? Every end is a new beginning. When one door closes, another opens. It's that kind of wordplay. There is the question, the powerful question of how does this loss serve me? Metabolize pain to energy, because it is in our system anyway, and it is, if we're kind to ourselves, if we're gentle to ourselves, then we can metabolize pain into energy, and from that energy create more. If we go through a period of grief and then just delusionally talk ourselves into believing that there is a silver lining, eventually we create a silver lining, right? The second biggest thing that happened this week was what she calls filling the form. There's always one daily action commitment for your creativity. In order to metabolize the pain to energy to then proceed in your creative evolution, because art is never finished, it just stops at interesting places. There's a quote from the book I loved. So instead of art stopping, you as an artist don't stop either. So you can stop if you bring yourself down and say that you're a failure or you didn't have the success you wanted or something like that. But in essence, you're never a failure and art doesn't stop, and so your artistic journey doesn't stop, and you evolving as an artist doesn't stop either. So filling the form basically just means to leave the grief behind and then proceed to take action steps toward what you imagine you want out of your life, and look at it from a creative point of view, right? It's this whole concept around making it happen and creating your reality. I just followed intuitively ideas that came to mind, and I didn't really, I wasn't clinging on any outcome. I just followed intuitively, and if there was a no, there wasn't even like some sort of resentment or a feeling of rejection. I just know that somehow following your intuition and following where the flow takes you might lead you to filling the form and taking the action steps required for you to redefine you as an artist and regain that sense of self-empowerment, that it's really you that makes it happen, with the support and help of others, of course, but it's really your choice to take action, sort of. So those two stood out a lot as being the creative current through the week, but what stood out from the inner work was the exercise early patternings. Well, I did a separate video. I just realized it was such a profound experience writing that I did a second video. I'm gonna play that now. And it's basically those rapid fire questions where you just need to write down what comes to your mind, right? So I just did that, and I documented it, of course. But do you know what I really found the most interesting thing of all of those questions? Because to be honest, like most of what I wrote, I already knew. Like I knew the teachers, and I knew what they said, and I knew my parents, and I knew my childhood, something like that. But the last question is, if I believe I'm really talented, then I am mad as hell at blank and blank and blank and blank and blank. And of course, I'm mad at my parents, I'm mad at my teachers, I'm mad at society as a whole for not encouraging art and creativity as being the essence of what it means to be human. But what I wrote last was, and I'm mad at myself, because despite the fact that I know all of this, like I know all of this intellectually, I know what happened, I know what it did to me, but most of all I'm mad at myself because I'm still, for some reason, not believing in myself. I mean, even a thing I'm going through right now, like I closed down my business in December, and I did my grieving, and I did like feel like I lost something, and I also did feel like I was a failure and a loser, and like I was living off my art for 2 years, and I was living as a freelancer, writing and doing photography and websites and stuff, and I was able to afford my car and my travels and everything with it. And then I closed it down because there were no more projects coming in, and it was kind of frustrating to go knocking at doors all the time and getting rejected, right? So I decided I'm not gonna knock on doors anymore. Maybe this is a sign to do something new. So I closed down my business, long story short. And up until this point right now, where I'm recording this video, I wasn't mad at myself once. I just thought I was a loser. You know what I mean? Like I was not mad or disappointed in myself because I thought, well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, it's because you're just not good enough. It's because you were not meant or destined to live of your art, because you're not an artist and you're not creative enough and you're not competitive enough or whatever. Like I wasn't mad. I just thought that closing of the business was a logical conclusion of my life's journey because I'm not good enough. And I wrote now that of course I'm somehow mad at my parents, but all of this sort of fades away because at some point you can't be mad at your parents anymore. On the contrary, every single influence in my life, especially my parents, made me become the person I am. And I actually like the person I am now. I like the journey I went through, and I liked the way I evolved over time, and I like how I thrive now because I'm not backing down on any dreams I have. I might have those episodes where I feel weak and exhausted and just would rather have like a normal life and a normal job and not have any aspirations to do anything great, but that's like a passing phase. It's also a passing phase to always blame others for what you're going through. And of course, my parents and society and my teachers, they're sort of responsible for doubting myself. But if that is in your consciousness, in your awareness, then for the love of God, and I'm talking to myself now, let it go. And when I wrote down, I'm mad at myself, I was like, wow. Yeah, be mad at yourself for once, because you're holding yourself back. And I wanted to record that especially because I find it infuriating, but also it's kind of healing as well. And I'm tearing up right now because I want to be mad at myself, really. I want to be mad at myself for once. Because that's the only person, I am the only person who actually can make changes and can adjust. As someone who really wants to evolve, I feel so excited. It doesn't make sense. I feel so excited that I wrote down, most of all, I'm angry and mad at myself because I still refuse to believe in my creativity and my art. So I think that's a good one, and I wanted to share that on this as a special occasion moment in week 8 with you. There is strength and there is power in anger if you channel it. And I'm gonna channel it. I'm gonna first experience it and let it come through and really be mad at myself. But it's a freeing experience because I can do anything. If I'm the one that can change my reality, then I can work with that and no longer have to work with anything that hurt me in the past if I'm mad at me right now, because I'm still holding myself back. So yeah, that's the gist of what I just experienced doing that exercise, and I wanted to share that. Maybe it's of help. So we're back, and this is the week 8, recovering a sense of strength, and I feel stronger after this week. And I'm gonna end this sequence with 2 quotes that I loved. Be safe, my loves, be safe and sound. The 2 main quotes that I got from other people, not Julia Cameron, were Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and he said, "The world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless." And the second one is, "Man can learn nothing except by going from the known to the unknown," by Claude Bernard. And the quote from Julia Cameron's writing that stood out for me was, "Give yourself the dignity of admitting your artistic wounds."